Hi, this is Andrew Michael. Today I would like to cover a lesson on inferencing. There are 4 different ways to cover this one word. You can use the word infer, inferring, inference, or inferencing, and they all come down to the same thing, an educated guess, or a WAG, a wild academic guess. I want you to think about the following scenario. I'm your everyday classroom teacher. You see me in and out of the classroom when you get there and leave every single day. One day I am not there, and behind my desk instead of me sits a woman. What do you think happened? What can you infer? Well, students usually come across and say that we have a substitute. When we talk about this, if you come across and say we have a substitute, that is a good inference. That is a good educated guess. But if you go across saying, oh, Mr. Mike must have gotten fired and we have a new teacher, or wow, Mr. Mike sure looks different today, that is a bad inference. And then we go on and we talk more about inferences every day in our lives. We make inferences every single day in our lives. Today, we're going to read a story called What Do Fish Have to Do with Anything by Avie. This is a very interesting story, and it covers inferencing in a variety of ways. I want to first give you the background information of this story. This story deals with fish in the title that are strange creatures called cavefish. These fish are whitish and colorless appearance. Some of the fish seem actually nearly transparent, and they lack eyes. So we're going to be reading a story about fish that have no eyes. What do you think this might mean to you? We talk about this in a group discussion for a few minutes. Move on. We then read the story with guided instruction. I'm going to stop several times to cover different aspects along the story. In case you are unfamiliar with this story, I'm going to give you a quick synopsis of this story. Willie's father left him and his mother 6 months prior to the beginning of the story, and his mother is depressed. Willie and the mother encounter a homeless man who Willie's mother tells him is sick with unhappiness. Willie thinks he can find the cure for unhappiness with this man, but his mother forbids him from talking to him. But Willie is sure that this is the only person that can help his mother find happiness. So we're going to start the story now, and then the very first paragraph, Mrs. Markham states that parents need to protect their kids. So we're going to talk about this. Is this true? How so? How do your parents protect you? This just always leads to a good general class discussion. The next question across the story goes with Miss Markham and Willie sees a homeless man while walking home from school. He asks his mom if she is going to give him any money. She replies they have nothing to spare. What do you think this tells us about Willie and his mother's living condition? Usually the class generates and figures out that this means they have very little money. We then go on into talking about Mrs. Markham, later on in the story, cuts Willie a piece of cake using her thumb as a measuring tool. She states that one portion, half an inch piece, contains the following nutrients, and scientists study people and write what portions or serving size every person needs on the box. She then tells Willie that if you're smart enough, you can become a scientist. What point is the author trying to make to us about showing that Mrs. Markham believes the box on proportions or serving sizes written by scientists? Do you believe the box can tell you what serving size is needed? Even today, on every single box, it tells you what a serving size and what portion a person should receive on their plate. Should we follow that portion size? Should we follow that serving size? Later in the story, Willie questions his mother about the homeless man and what kind of unhappiness he has. His mother replies that he is unhappy for many reasons. She then states, "Money will cure unhappiness." Is this true? Do you believe money can cure unhappiness? Is that the true cure for unhappiness? The next quote says that a salesperson once told her that maybe you can't buy unhappiness, but you can rent a lot of it. What does this really mean to you? And how so? Let's think about that for a second. If you can not buy happiness, but you can rent a lot of it, are they really saying that the happiness that you're being bought is just temporary? Why would it only be temporary? Let's really think on that. His mother also replied here that questions have no answers shouldn't be asked. Are there questions in life that have no answers? Did his mother just tell him this to keep him from discovering the truth? What do you think? How so? Later on in the story, Willie sees this homeless man on the corner while his mother is asleep and searches his pocket and finds a nickel. He wonders how much happiness a nickel can buy. What do you think Willie is up to? How much happiness can a nickel buy? What about $1? $20? $100? Is there a set price for happiness? At school, Willie learns that some fish live in caves and have no eyes. Why is this important? What do you think this has to do with the title? This is a symbol, something more than it really is. A symbol, we've already covered this year. Remember, think of a cross. People wear a cross around their neck. A simple cross in religion stands for their faith, stands for God, stands for everything they believe in. It is a symbol. A Nike check mark on your shoes is a symbol. It's also a slogan, but it is a symbol referring to Nike and just do it. So is Willie's situation similar to a fish with no eyes? Who else in the story might be compared to a fish with no eyes? Let's think about that one. Mrs. Markham tells Willie not to look at the homeless man again the next day. So she then tells him that people are ashamed of being unhappy. Are people really ashamed of being unhappy? Is this true? How can you be ashamed of being unhappy? Willie figures out that his mother has been unhappy since his father left. Does she have the same sickness as this homeless man? They are both unhappy. Why? Or why not? Willie's mother does not answer the question and responds that there is too much in the mind that needs to be paid attention to. You agree with this, that there's too much in the mind that needs not to be paid attention to? That there are some things that you should just leave out and forget? Willie tells the homeless man he is looking for a cure for unhappiness to help his mother, that she is always unhappy. Do you believe such a cure exists? He replies to William about how you could possibly find a cure. Do you believe that you could actually find a cure for this? He then tells William that the cure for unhappiness is that a person needs more than what they want. What does this mean? A person needs more than what they want. That's the cure for unhappiness. A person needs more than what they want. Willie gets asked by the homeless man sometime in this same scenario what his name is. He replies that his name is Willie. And then the homeless man says, no, not your child name. What is your adult name? And he replies, William. What is going on here? Why is it so important to know his adult name? Willie also tells the homeless man about the fish with no eyes, and he asks him, do you believe that this is true? The homeless man replies, yes, I believe it. And Willie is confused. He asks him, why do you believe that this is true? And Willie said, the homeless man said, because you said it. Not someone, you. You said it, therefore I believe it. What can we tell about this? Later on, Willie brings the pound cake down and he's using his finger, the half-inch mark, the thumb, to cut the homeless man a piece of cake. The homeless man asks him, what are you doing with your finger? He says, I'm cutting you a portion, because everyone gets one portion. The homeless man, where did you read that? He says it's right here in the box. You can read it if you want. The homeless man looks over the box and says, well, that's a bunch of lies. How can a box tell you how much I need? Willie then refers and asks him, well, how can I tell how much to cut you then? He says, look at me, look at the box, and then cut what you believe I deserve. Willie cuts him a 1.5-inch piece and gives it to him. The homeless man eats it right away, and that is at the time frame we just talked about where he finally tells him the cure for unhappiness, which is a person needs more than what they really say. So, what is the author trying to tell us here about the cake? Do you agree with the message? That you can look at a person and then decide how much they truly need? Willie tells his mother he has been talking to the homeless man and he finds the cure for unhappiness. His mother says it is nonsense and arranges for the homeless man to be gone from the street, saying he was pestering Willie. Do you agree with her? Was he pestering Willie? Why or why not? Willie says the homeless man was not pestering him, and his mother says that he was. Willie asks how she knows, and she replies that she has eyes and can see. Willie then replies that she cannot see, that she is a fish, and that she lives in a cave. What does he mean? Is she really blind and lives in a cave? If not, what does he really mean here? Willie's mother then tells him he is talking nonsense. He says his name is not Willie, but it's William. What just happened here? What is Willie trying to say to his mother? The story is now over. In the story, who do you think really was the fish with no eyes? How so? At this point in the lesson, we would then, after all the group discussions had ended, we would then go on to a supplemental lesson with inferences. And the one I want to introduce real quickly deals with checks. I'm going to walk you through this with a worksheet I've made. This is called the checks lab. It deals only with predictions and inferences, which we have covered a lot today. In the checks lab, in it, you have a whole stack of checks that are on face down. You draw 4 checks at random. You can put them in any order once you get the checks. You have the dates on the checks to help you arrange the sequencing. Once the 4 checks are drawn, you have this worksheet with you. Once the 4 checks are drawn, you then write your original prediction and inference. After that, you draw 4 more. And of course, once they draw 4 more checks, their inference and prediction is going to change. And then the next question is asked, how did it change? After that, they're going to draw 2 more, and they have a total of 10 checks at this point. Once again, their inference and predictions usually change once they put these checks in sequencing order and figure out what is truly going on. And that, of course, is the next question. How and why did your prediction and inference change? Then they have their final prediction and hypothesis. Then there are 3 pondering questions of what was useful while making your predictions and inferences. In your final prediction inference, is it correct? And what would you do or help make a better prediction inference all along? The whole point of the checks lab is I want them to figure out that in order to make a good educated guess as well as a good prediction, the more information you have, the better inference and the better prediction you can come across. So we're always looking around for more information and a better prediction to make the best inference we can. And that covers the lesson of today with What Do Fish Have to Do with Anything by Avi over inferencing. And this is Andrew Michaelotti signing off. Thank you very much for your time.